All right, good morning. April 9th, it's Tuesday. No streaming yesterday because it was the eclipse day. We were out of town, went down south to Indy to see the eclipse, which was really cool. And now we're back at it this morning. There's no news today. There's nothing really going on, so it could be kind of a slow day. Let's see. Here's the calendar. Tomorrow we got CPI, then jobless claims. So Wednesday, Thursday should be great days. See how it goes today. And where are we at? So gold range is formed. We're kind of hanging out at the midline here. I mean, we rejected it here. We sort of came up a little bit here. It's not really moving anywhere. Oil looks like it's starting its range creation and moving up. Overnight open at just above us by only 20 ticks. And then NQ is kind of wobbling around. All right, so gold. What do we have for a range? Oh, a huge range again. We had a big range yesterday in gold. Another big range today in gold. Yeah, let's see. It's been slowly moving up from yesterday. Then right now we pulled back into. So this morning we had an impulsive move up. Pulled all the way back down. So I don't know. We'll see. Let's try and move up just now. See what happens here if we wrap the middle or if we hold a red line. It's really choppy, so I'm not too excited about it. Plus, the candles are a little big right now. Well, 16 ticks, that's not. Anything under 20 is probably okay for me. Bigger than 20, though, and the risk is just too much. Okay, I did buy on the top. I bought right as we broke that candle, came and whipped me out for 10 ticks loss right away, which is fine. Except now it's gonna go. Let's wait and see. It's been choppy, so it's gonna be really interesting if this just takes off from here. I know. Should probably just let gold be for a minute. See what we do. Oil rejected the overnight open, went up, barely touched it, and pulled back. So I do like that. What did it do yesterday? It's kind of meandery yesterday. Meandered up, meandered down. Yeah, I'm gonna have to let gold settle down here. We are coming off of the red line. We're down below the midline again. This is not very exciting right now. Everything's just kind of going sideways. So 15 minutes before NQ opens up. Gold feels like it wants to come down, but not sure I really trust it much. Could be a lot of waiting today. What did we do yesterday? Moved around a lot yesterday. It was really choppy all morning long. So we had a big drop first thing in the morning, 100 points basically. A little more than that because we fell basically through the London range and then inched our way back up and kind of chopped around, went sideways. This could be a very unexciting day. I mean, right now we're at the top of the London range. We had 40-point range in Asia, which is pretty, that's kind of nice. Then we expanded a little bit in London. Took out London lows this morning. Now we're back up here. We're kind of inside a 4-hour fair value gap. There's just nothing. I don't see any structure that really points to a clear liquidity draw or anything of that nature. I mean, I'm sure there is one, but I don't have a lot of confidence, whatever that might be. I guess we can do this. No real bias today. There's kind of our targets high, and then but no news. I don't know. The one thing is, this one we're coming up to now is kind of an equal high from yesterday. The 15-minute has a bunch of long wicks from yesterday that Kind of all over the place. So I do not know. Okay, oil's finished its range. It's coming up to the overnight open. Oh, egg cube. All right. So pushed up through that target pretty aggressively. Very aggressively. I mean, these lines are really not very far apart. It's about 50 points. Oh, not even 30 points. I think oil is going to be a pain in the butt because overnight open matches up with the top of our range. So we push through that, probably move away from it. But price is right between that overnight open and our red lines and gold lines. So that doesn't, it's not real clear. Don't really like to do anything inside of that range. The total range is what? 50. So that's kind of on the large side for oil. All right, so we're going to see where oil goes. Did get in off of the break of this candle because, let's see, we reached up here, we came back, I guess we didn't quite touch the midline, we were one tick away from it, but that's pretty close. So stop loss is only 12 ticks away from my entry, which was at 45, 1245. So this is probably lower probability just because we are in this area where price is kind of between these levels. So we'll see what happens, but I like it because if we do push up to the overnight open and push through it, gives us a little bit of cushion. Because our entry is so low, it can come up here, and if it, chops around a little bit before it moves past the overnight open, we have some cushion. And then if comes up and comes right back down, we can get stopped out for break even. It's got to push up right here. If it doesn't, then we'll be wrong. Oh, there we go. We were wrong. That's okay. Now we're coming down the other way. See what it does. And Q, on the other hand, is holding this fair value gap for the moment anyway. Gold still going sideways in this range. Feels unclear to me. Got 5 minutes till we open up. I'd love to see oil come back up. Love to see it fall a little bit more, then come back up for a little retest. It's kind of interesting that this morning it came just down below the low of yesterday's range, open range, which was also the overnight open from yesterday. See where we go. Oil is definitely a little more, has a little more, kind of rhythm than gold does. Gold is just messy. Okay, so oil pulled back up to the gold line. It's just flirting with this midline here. All right, is gold's move higher? Didn't want to give us an entry, but see what happens. All right, NQ opened up. Those opens may be affecting gold a little bit. Maybe that's what's giving it its motivation higher. It's kind of interesting on oil down here because this is an inversion because we pushed down, took out this low, created a fair value gap, broke through this fair value gap in one candle. Don't really look at inversions, or I haven't been on oil or really anything else other than NQ. But if this plays out the same way we'd expect it to in something like NQ, we'd expect it to hit probably up here. We'll see. All right, gold's starting to open up a little bit. This is good. See if it gives us an entry at some point. Gold line, red line are crossing, which is nice. So ideally, I'd be looking for some kind of a pullback really anytime, and then maybe a breakout the top. The overnight open in gold is down below. But the direction is really unclear, so big range, which is good. It means it doesn't have to go very far for it to be a pretty good trade. So it'll just wick down here through the lines, almost again to the overnight open. Didn't quite get there, or not the overnight open, the midline of the open range. Didn't quite get there. It's just a big. Oh, there it goes. Shooting up. Okay, we made back the losses we had on oil. Took this inversion right here on NQ. Nice little trade. Nice little scalp. We pushed up. I mean, this fell through with some momentum, so we took the break of the candle and took it just down to here. So we're back up to break even on the day. So that's good. A little bit better than break even by about $5. That was just too textbook not to take right there. I don't normally take NQ trades like that in the morning, but that was pretty obvious. So can't pass up the obvious ones. All right. So finally, gold has chosen a direction for the time being, and the direction is long. Need to give us some kind of an entry. I mean, technically the entry was here. It was kind of messy, right? But we pushed up, kind of sat at this midline. Right here, we do create a little bit of space. Pull down and finish up, right? So this would have been the best entry, I think, right here. Right, the break of this candle. I'm just going to put it on top of that candle. Challenge is it chopped around for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 minutes or something before it actually broke out. But your stop would have been down below this candle here, and it was never threatened. And then it went up. You know, we're 67 ticks up right now from there. Nope. So let's see if we get a little pullback here. Let's look at where these executions were at on NQ. I was a little impatient, so I moved my target, which is at 15 points when I enter these things. I just marketed in, got filled in there, got out right there. So it's only 12 points, but yeah, you can see it definitely hit all these sort of equal lows here. So a really nice target right there. And now we've rocketed back up and we've closed above this one. So we're going back up the other way. I don't know. Let's see. Let's redraw this gap because it's kind of what we're basing this thing off of. Kind of a little bit late. That's kind of a bad entry. Should have waited for a pullback. See what we do. I actually feel like the long side is a little more. We've been headed up recently, so seems like if we were going to have a bias, that would be the logical one, but we've just kind of been chopping around. So let's delete this guy. There we go. Come on. So this fair value gap is the one that inverted. That's basically where the rationale for our trade. This one back here is holding, so that's good. Don't know if I really want to wait this one out though. Target is basically the top of the range, which if it breaks through the top of the range, well, I guess technically the range hasn't finished forming yet, right? So got to keep that in mind. Move my stop to break even. Let's go. A little more, a little more. Didn't even quite touch that level yet, so that's a nice retest here on gold. Come on, NQ, just a little bit higher. Okay, it did tick up above that by like one tick, so that's maybe that's all it has in it. I'm not sure. I don't know. Gold is too like, I don't really like gold today. We gotta just move up and down. What are you waiting for, NQ? You can do it. Maybe my target up a little bit, because if it punches up here, it might punch up more than just to right there. If it comes back and stops me out for break even, then no harm, no foul. Still in it. Still in it. All right, the open range is, well, I guess this is one more candle before the open range is finished forming here. Oh, there we go. Okay. Stopped out for break even. Didn't quite get there. All right, let's delete. Let's reset these things. So we're testing back into here. Yeah, oil has a nice little sweeping retest underneath here. So it's looking a little better than gold at the moment. Even the gold may very well end up pushing higher. All right, the size of this oil candle is 13 ticks. So that's pretty reasonable. All things considered. Oil's created two inside bars. First, on the 5-minute chart, that is. The first one would have been a loss, I think. The second one would still be in play, technically. Going short. It would have come right down to the target, to the tick, so probably wouldn't have filled if that's where your target had been. This is just really not a lot going on. Actually, NQ looks better than these guys right now. All right, NQ's out the bottom of the open range. Tapped the London high, I think that is. Yep. Gold continues to not be sure where it's going, as does oil. Might just be a long, slow day of watching nothing happen, I guess. Gotta wait for a clear entry. We can't just jump in on something because we're bored. So that's always the challenge on days like today. The interesting thing in oil is we came down here, we created a lower low, we created a kind of a higher high. Lower low. I guess the high wasn't higher. It was to the tick equal to the previous high. Lower low. Now it's just holding right here. So depending on if your bias is long or short in NQ, this could be a short entry here. But if we invert, it could be a long entry. So flip a coin. Which direction do you want to go? Looks like if you picked short, you might be correct. Oh, maybe not. Just all over the place. Check out another time frame here. There you go. Maybe we'll go to this one. Yeah, if we get an inversion long off of this guy, that might be an entry. We still haven't taken out this high up here. These are like left like equal highs here with another one just above it. That looks like the best one on NQ. It's like time is standing still. I don't really trust. I really trust gold. I'd be inclined to go long here, right? The entry would have been off of this candle here. The stop loss probably like down below this candle because this was the kind of the low. That would be working out right now, but it's just really unclear. Created a lower low, so it's not really. Looks like it could just be kind of consolidating at the same time, so nothing clear. Other than NQ, if it decides to invert this guy, which, you know, who knows? It's not looking so great right now. If you're still on the 5-minute inside bar on oil, you'd still be, would not have been stopped out yet. Be back in profit. Yeah, see now gold's rolling over again. Of course, whenever the red line is flat, that's never really a good sign. Tells you there's no real direction at the moment. Or at least based on the last 21, actually 105 candles. This might be a short one today because I'm not really sure what I'm waiting for right now, and I don't really want to just sit here and watch paint dry. Probably be more productive to go get some fresh air. I think it's supposed to be nice today. It was really nice for the eclipse yesterday. It's like 70 degrees. And what's today? 60 and cloudy. Yeah, could be worse. Could be raining. Let's go back to the 1 minute on NQ. Our lines up here are crossing, so maybe we're getting ready to move down. This is interesting. If you'd have been in on this entry on gold like we talked about before, you'd still be in it. Waiting to see if we get a long grind up today. Could happen. Yeah, gold's still pushing up. NQ is moved it up into this fair value gap. Let's look at the 2-minute. All right, so we have 2 more minutes before a potential close above over here. All right, no inversion so far on NQ. Instead, we got a nice rejection here, so that's good. Gold's going to see if it can meander on up. All right, let's put extensions on here. 100% would be 87.3. That's way up there. Oof. I mean, big opening range, right? It was 112, I think. 114. All right, so we did take out this high by 1 tick. So we'll see if that's enough for it or if it wants to come take out this high and maybe even reach for that 100%. Got in this move very late. My entry was like way up here after we broke through the range again. So we're up a little bit. It's just struggling to go anywhere. Every time it gets somewhere, it just hesitates, pulls back. There's certainly no momentum. All right, I'm going to move my stop to break even because then I don't know. Let's see. My problem is my entry was bad, so my entry was at 76.6, which puts me right here. What I would love to do for this is just sort of let it ride. My concern is that oil is moving around, getting kind of these deep pullbacks, and I don't think a stop or break even gives it enough room to kind of pull back if it wanted to. And I don't know, it's still kind of marching up, so maybe we'll be okay. Again, if we'd been in right here, yep, 78 ticks at this point in time. After sitting through 2 monster pullbacks, which would have been very uncomfortable. See, it's like this strong pullback candle, and then immediately it just rips up higher, at least for a second, bounces around, continues to move. So I don't know. Guess as long as it's moving up, then we should just be happy with it, right? Should we set our target at 100% and see what happens? Trail it by like maybe 40 ticks or something. 87.2. Let's go 87 even, just in case it doesn't quite get there. That'd be pretty epic if that hit. It's 103. I mean, could happen. Seen it happen dozens and dozens of times. I'm a little aggravated I got stopped out down here. Because I had my stop too tight instead of leaving it below here. Otherwise, we'd be much more comfortable to let this thing just go. Now, this was kind of a strong move in one candle. That makes me a little cautious. That can signal potential exhaustion, or it just kind of reaches up there really fast. Sometimes that can be the sign that you're at the end. So the good news is our stop is below this little, it's not really a pullback. It's a very small pullback. So we pushed up. We did come down before pushing up again. So we're well below that. Thing is, if we fell that, we're probably coming back down further than where I have my break-even stop at. So I'm going to move my stop up below that point. Just a couple ticks. So we'll lock in 10 ticks of profit there. So stop at 776. I guess right here. Then we'll just wait and see. What's going on over in NQ land? Anything? No, I guess oil finally fell out here. Nice gold line retest before the drop. That would have been a pretty good entry right there. If you didn't get chopped out here, could have re-entered here. Which would have been good. We have a pivot low. We have a retest. And then we drop. So these things still set themselves up pretty regularly. You just got to be patient and wait for them. So that one's gone 44 so far. Meanwhile, NQ is just impulsively bouncing around. All right, gold. We hit the 50%. We're moving on up. Let's see. Should we move our stop up? We'll move our stop up another 10 ticks to 78.6. That gives it a little bit of room. And then we've locked in, what, 20? So $200. All right, inversion short, potentially. We took out a low, we pushed up, took out a high. Well, maybe not. That would have closed below. That would have been beautiful, but it didn't. But it didn't. Every time I think gold is done here and is going to pull back, it pulls back with one of these big down close candles, and then the next candle just keeps going up. It did it here, 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 here. So it feels like it's kind of moving, or it's kind of running out of steam, but really it's didn't have a whole lot of steam to begin with. It's just kind of choppy, but it's choppy up. So I guess that's choppy up is better than choppy down. It's just very slow. So we're up 50 ticks right now. We're at the 50% line. I'm debating taking my profits here because mm-hmm. 48, I don't know. The reality is I have no idea what it's going to do. But yeah, I don't know. It'd be really nice if there was, some kind of a clear reversal pattern or something that said, okay, I think this is the end. But we know with gold, it can just kind of be grindy. It can just take its time. Yeah, see? Like, is this our fourth chance to take profit right here, or is this Just to pause before we get another leg up. Before we pause, get another leg up. Okay, we're going to take out this high here. Yep. Took out that high, and we took out that high. Still in no man's land over here on NQ. All right, this looks like maybe where we want to. All right, I'm going to close it there. Let's say I got stopped out there. See what happens. If this pulls back, I might re-enter because that was pretty good. We'll see how it, see what it does here. That was the biggest down close candle we've had yet. And we seem to be sort of losing steam up here, so. We'll see. I think that was a, well, here, well, let's throw the executions up on here just so we can see. Yeah, so here's where I tried and I got stopped out. That was sad. It did keep going up, so got in here, which wasn't a great entry, but we had a strong push above the open range, and we were coming off of here. So really, it was a late entry off of this. $34 tick, so that wasn't tremendously exciting. It went as high as 57-ish, 56. It may not be done yet. It could just come back. I mean, at this point, if we'd left a stop at break even right here, that's below our gold line. So it's possible it just comes down for a deeper retest and goes back up. So if it does, we might get back into it. Basically with the logic that, you know, if we were already in it, we'd have our stop at this original entry point. So my logic would be that if we take an entry off of here and we have a stop back in the same area as our original entry, it would be as if we were getting stopped out for break even, except that we locked in, you know, a little bit of the profits on top. So we had actually, you know, even a loss on that would have been, you know, a gain on the overall, on this overall move. All right, all right, all right. Gosh. We want to go up or down, NQ? Don't seem to want to go anywhere. Oh, look at it go. Oh, my goodness. See, this is a pullback where a stop below this pivot low would make more sense. So where did I have my 76, 86? Okay, my 20 tick stop was right here, so that would have been safe. And then at this point, we would have moved it up to here, so we would have locked in a little bit more. And NQ bottom's falling out over here. Back into the London range. So technically this inversion in NQ, there was an inversion that fell right here. Then we dropped, but I mean, it worked through that gap pretty. I mean, spent a lot of time in there, so it wasn't an impulsive move like we like to see, but it certainly would have worked, I guess. Yeah, that gap's the only thing I see right there, so I guess that would have been the entry. Sheesh, look at NQ go. Taking out all the lows. Well, we are green for the day. All right, so gold would have stopped us out if we'd been trailing these pivots. We'll see, though. This kind of looks like a little flag action here. We'll see. All right, what's going on over here? Did we take out some low that's important? in NQ. We took out yesterday's low. I guess that's important. So that is yesterday's low there. Came down here with a lot of gusto though, so I don't know if there's going to be any kind of an inversion here that makes sense. See, below yesterday's low. What's our next target? Like way down here. Way down there. Looks like oil gave us another opportunity. Retest of the bottom of the open range, retest of the gold line. Scalped a little off of this move here. Don't it's probably going to keep going. We had a lot of momentum. I mean, that's a lot of momentum falling here. So I wouldn't be surprised to see it just keep kind of dumping. Not a lot of resistance in this area here. So they're coming down here for liquidity before I move higher, or we're failing, which the we've just been consolidating sideways. So there's no real trend. And we're still coming off of that huge drop on April 4th. So if you look at this 15-minute chart, no, my face is in the way, but this massive drop on the 4th, and we've just kind of been in the middle of that. In fact, kind of curious if we go from the high to the low of this. And this 50% line, we've just been basically sitting on it, right? All the price action yesterday was basically, above and below this line. In fact, if we let's just look at this. The high and the low of yesterday, we're only a couple points off. That the midline between the high and the low of yesterday's almost lines up pretty much exactly with the midline of that range. So we're just kind of in consolidation land right now. So if you think it's still going to dump, that's a little bit of a pullback into a fair value gap before a potential move lower. Or do we inverse it and come back up here? Don't know. All right, gold is failing back down. So it appears that 50% line was about as far as it wanted to go. And now it is failing with some vengeance. All right, another scalp off of that dump. These are like high risk, boring plays. This is not my model. But I mean, if the trend is down, I'm just not confident on how far down it's going to go. So we had that nice pullback out of here. So I took a break of this candle, took it for 50 ticks, whatever that is in points. I'm not sure. I'm very jumpy in NQ. I don't like to sit and wait unless I have a lot of confidence. So 11 and a half points. Could still come down a ways though, so you know. There it goes. Yes, that would have been a really nice entry short. Bloop, bloop. Nice 2022 model, I think. Yeah, the question would be, where's your target? I mean, this is probably where it's reaching for eventually, but let's see. Well, gold totally felled the midline. It overshot it. See what it does now. Oil's still dropping if you got in off this retest. Managed to hold. That would have been a really nice trade. There are actually some pretty good trades. The thing I'm struggling with in gold is you got to be really patient. You got to sit through chop. And like, you can't get in here. Well, I don't know. You just have to have wide stops, I guess. Because, I mean, ultimately, I had the direction right. I just got in a little prematurely. I was getting off of this retest of the midline, which wasn't as nice because there's no space, right? You're really just sitting on the midline at this point. Not until do we have 1, 2, 3, 4 candles close above it. We come back down for a retest, and it's still chopped for a while, but that was, that would have been the better entry. Could have taken it up to basically where I got out. So the trade sets up all the time, and this would have been where did I say the entry would have been? Right here? No, right here. You could have got 100 ticks off that, right? So $1,000 a contract. Even on kind of a choppy, crappy day, still worked out. If you could catch this drop, that would have been a little easier, but how do you, unless you're relying on some price action, which from what I've observed, gold isn't always the best when it comes to just sort of candlestick behavior. So I feel like it's kind of manipulated a little bit. So I'm not sure. I don't see an entry here to catch this short. Maybe there was on a higher time frame. I mean, we did take out. Oh no, we didn't take this high out. We sat there. We basically matched it. Yeah, I just don't see anything. We can make something up at this point in hindsight, but of course there could be something on a different time frame too, but regardless, that's my trade. That's my entry. So I think I traded actually pretty well today. So I only took 1, 2, 3 trades. 2 losses, 1 win, but the win was much better than the losses. Right, I basically lost 10, 10, made 34. So wasn't a lot more, but it was green. So I just got to learn to stay out of this chop and wait for these. Because really, even this one would have been fine, but this was a lot easier. Just would have had to have my stop loss in this one down a little bit further, and it would have worked fine. So that's the way it goes. Got a couple good scalps on NQ as we were dropping here, and one on the way up. So I think overall it's been fairly successful. I don't think I took any dumb trades. I did take an oil trade. What were my oil trades? Let's look at those real fast. One oil trade that was a failure. And this one was okay, except, well, no, it wasn't okay. And here's the reason it wasn't okay. My lines don't agree. I'm trading into the overnight open. So trading into the overnight open is a no-go. Trading with the lines in the wrong direction, that's like a 50-50. When they're this close, it probably doesn't matter as much, especially since we're testing the midline. Had this not been the overnight open, maybe the overnight open was down here or even higher, I think this would have been fine. I like where I had my stop. I had my stop in a good place. I just got stopped out. So this trade overall was okay. 13 ticks loss. So I'm going to call this like a C type trade, right? It had good logic, but there were red flags. However, I, had my stop loss in a good place, and that protected me. So overall, I think we'll have to take that for now. I'll probably keep watching maybe this afternoon, and we can push the needle a little bit if something very, very nice sets up. But we've had a big drop in NQ. So we'll see what happens. We've already had our moving gold. We moving back down to the overnight open. My back testing, I guess I should take a look at the overnight open and see how many times we draw to it from a distance, right? Because here, right, in oil, we touched it, and from there we pushed down. Gold, we hadn't been there, but we were a little ways away from it. Long ways away from it. But now we're dropping back down. So I don't know. Could work. This isn't one that I'll probably get involved with since I'm up for the day. It's not worth risking it. Since there's already been nice moves, right? I'd be more comfortable taking a short off the mid-range, or even better off of the gold line or the red line at this point in the day, since it's a little bit later, coming up on, well, we're still an hour out, I guess, from lunchtime, but getting to that time of day. That's all I got. So that was the day today. Kind of boring, kind of required patience, but the trades work out. I would have taken this one, but I wasn't watching oil. So I missed out on that good opportunity because I was over here in NQ, but the NQ trades were wins. So at least we have that going for us. So that's all for today, folks. Hope you have a great day. We'll talk to you tomorrow. Bye.